Thank you, Madam Chairman. Councillor Craig Monks, Beaminster Ward. Following the recent loss of broadband in Beaminster due to a vehicle fire, I'd like to thank the portfolio holder and the officers for their prompt response in ensuring the vehicle was safely removed. Could the portfolio holder please outline what steps Dorset Council can take to review the resilience and security of our current broadband infrastructure, and what lessons or actions might be considered to help prevent similar service disruptions in Beaminster or indeed across the wider county? Thank you.
Councillor Biggs.
Councillor Biggs, Property Assets, Economic Growth. Thank you for the question. Access to broadband and broadband infrastructure, as you probably guessed, is the responsibility of the network owner, predominantly in Dorset and, in the case of this outage, in Beaminster, Openreach. Service users, where they have critical functions, can opt for additional resilience. This usually involves separate physical infrastructure referred to as diverse routing, and this can be very expensive to install. These will be typically installed commercially and at a customer or site level rather than across an exchange area, I guess the public area. Officers have undertaken to review the incident with Openreach to see if there are any wider lessons that can be drawn. But fundamentally, this lies with the commercial operations of Openreach in this instance. Openreach have been contacted and have provided this further information as of yesterday. Our Openreach Network Operations Centre, short NOC, detected a hardware failure affecting just over 1,000 customers just before midnight on Sunday the 12th, going into morning of 13th of October. A major incident group was immediately mobilised, and it was identified that the car had crashed into our pole and combusted. Once the fire was put out, our engineers reviewed the site and ascertained that the car would need to be removed in order for our engineers to access the area and work safely to replace the pole and local network. The removal of the car was organised by Dorset Council. I guess that's John's area. The council was removed at lunchtime on Tuesday, 14th of October, and survey work was undertaken the same day. Applications were made to Dorset Council to close off the road to allow for the removal of the damaged pole and tree cutting to take place so that the engineers could work safely to rebuild the network. The tree cutting took place on Wednesday, 15th of October, and the pole was replaced on the morning of Thursday, the 15th, which then allowed our engineers to recable and restore the network, which was completed just after 3 a.m. on Friday, 16th of October. Regarding resilience and security, Openreach network operations are on duty round the clock, 24/7, 365 days a year, monitoring our network. They work with operational teams across Openreach that are based in local communities to fix faults and get customers back in service as quickly as possible. The cause of this particular incident is not something that they could have prevented, but we mitigate the length of time required to make these complex repairs by having local engineering teams on standby to respond with supplies held locally to expedite the speed of repair. Our thanks to Dorset Council for their support with making the area safe for our engineers to make the necessary repairs. We understand that mobile networks was unaffected and remained available for use. For any customers that do not have good mobile coverage or require extra help and support with their services, the advice is always that we ask that they please contact their phone broadband provider to discuss what additional support could be offered in the event of their service being impacted.
Thank you for the reply. Do you have a supplementary?
Thank you for the response, but that sounded too aggressive. I didn't quite get the answer to my question in terms of what Dorset Council might be able to do. I understand that Openreach, obviously the service provider, but whilst mobile phone networks weren't affected, schools, doctor surgery, pharmacies, businesses, and pretty much the whole town was. So whilst Openreach own the network, I think we can do a little bit more to chase their security, because I can't quote what the engineer told me on site because it had lots of swear words in it, but there's a serious issue that he raised with me with regards to the connection. So I guess my follow-up is I would ask what more could we do to hold Openreach to account to make sure that if a whole of Beaminster is lost because of a car fire, what does that look like for anywhere else? Because that to me isn't really satisfactory. But thank you.
Councillor Biggs.
Well, as was said, it is Openreach's responsibility. They were not responsible for the incident being caused, and clearly Dorset Council will do all it can. They clearly responded, as they would say, within time, and there were, mitigating circumstances. This is why it took so long. I guess, these are quite rare events, thankfully, but still there are poles. My own house in Bridport Road, Dorchester, is fed by a pole, even though it's, fibre optics. That is the nature of the infrastructure. I really don't think we could do much more, but we always, if there's any lessons learned, we will take those on board.